The Lagos sun was merciless that Tuesday morning when Amara Okafor received the call that would change everything. She was sitting in her cluttered office above the busy Alaba market, surrounded by speakers, mixing boards, and the dreams she'd built from nothing. Her DJ company, Soundstorm Entertainment, had grown from a single borrowed speaker to Lagos's most sought-after event service. But success couldn't fill the void in her heart where Emeka Okonkwo once lived. "Hello, Soundstorm Entertainment. Amara speaking," she answered, balancing the phone between her shoulder and ear while updating her equipment inventory. "Good morning. My name is Chioma Adebayo. I'm calling from Benin City. We need a DJ for our traditional wedding ceremony next Saturday. We heard you're the best in Lagos, and we're willing to pay premium rates if you can travel." Amara's business instincts kicked in immediately. Benin City jobs were lucrative. Wealthy families who spared no expense for their celebrations. Of course, what's the budget range we're looking at? Money is not an issue. This is my dream wedding, and I want everything perfect. My fiancé just returned from abroad, and we're doing things properly. Can you handle a crowd of about 500 guests? Absolutely. What date did you say? Amara grabbed her calendar, already mentally calculating the logistics. Saturday, the 23rd. The venue is the Edo Plaza Hotel. Oh, and one more thing. We'll need you to play a mix of traditional music and modern hits. My fiancé loves Davido, especially Fall. He says it reminds him of someone special from his past. Something cold slithered down Amara's spine. Fall had been their song, hers and Emeka's. The song he'd whispered along to during their late-night drives around Victoria Island. The song that played the night he promised to marry her when he returned from his business opportunity abroad. "Ma'am, can I ask your fiancé's name? Just for our records." Emeka Okonkwo. He's such a wonderful man, very ambitious. He's been working so hard in London to build our future together. The phone slipped from Amara's numb fingers, clattering onto her desk. London. Emeka was supposed to be in Dubai, working construction, saving money for their wedding. That's what he'd told her during their last video call 6 months ago. That's what he'd said when she wired him her last 800,000 naira to help with his visa problems. Her assistant, Kimmy, looked up from the computer with concern. "Oga, what'd happen? You look like you see ghost." Amara stared at the phone, her mind reeling. 3 years. 3 years she'd waited, sacrificed, and believed in a future that was apparently never meant to be hers. She'd sold her car to fund his travels. She'd taken loans against her business to send him money. She'd turned down other suitors because she was waiting for Emeka to come back and make her his wife. And now, this Chioma woman was planning to marry her Emeka, the same Emeka who still sent her good morning texts and called her my heart whenever they spoke. "Kimmy," Amara said slowly, her voice deadly calm, "clear my schedule for next weekend. We're going to Benin City." The journey to Benin City felt like traveling to her own execution. Amara sat in the passenger seat of the equipment van, staring at WhatsApp messages from Emeka that now read like cruel jokes. "Missing you, my queen. Can't wait to hold you again. Soon, very soon, we'll be together forever." Her team was excited about the high-paying gig, but Amara felt like she was walking into a nightmare. She'd spent the week debating whether to confront Emeka before the wedding or simply cancel the job. But something deeper than hurt pride kept her moving forward. She needed to see this betrayal with her own eyes. The Edo Plaza Hotel was magnificent, draped in gold and burgundy fabrics that screamed expensive taste. As Soundstorm Entertainment set up their equipment, Amara watched the wedding preparations unfold like a movie she was forced to watch but never auditioned for. Chioma was beautiful, tall, elegant, with the kind of effortless grace that came from a life of privilege. She floated around the venue in her pre-wedding photo shoot, laughing with her bridesmaids and posing for pictures that would probably grace magazine covers. Everything about her screamed perfect wife material, the kind of woman who belonged on the arm of a successful man returning from abroad. "She's stunning," Kimmy whispered, adjusting the microphone levels. No wonder Oga Man chose her over. I mean, she caught herself, but the damage was done. Over a struggling DJ from Lagos? Amara finished, her smile bitter. It's fine, Kemi. Let's just do our job. The traditional ceremony was scheduled to begin at 2 p.m., but like most Nigerian weddings, it was running fashionably late. Amara used the extra time to observe the families mingling. Chioma's people were clearly wealthy, politicians, business executives, the kind of Lagos old money that made her own middle-class background feel inadequate. Then she saw him. Emeka emerged from the hotel's presidential suite at 3:30 p.m., resplendent in a burgundy agbada that probably cost more than her monthly rent. He gained weight, good weight, the kind that came from eating well abroad. His skin glowed with health and success, and his smile was confident in a way she remembered but more polished now. He looked happy, genuinely, radiantly happy in a way that made her stomach churn. As the ceremony began, Amara positioned herself behind the DJ booth, hidden by speakers and stage lights. Her heart hammered as she watched Emeka go through the traditional rites, the palm wine ceremony, the bride price negotiation, the exchange of cola nuts. Each ritual felt like a knife twisting deeper into her chest. The most painful moment came during the couple's first dance. Chioma had specifically requested Fall by Davido, and as the opening notes filled the air, Amara watched Emeka's face transform with what looked like nostalgic joy. He whispered something in Chioma's ear that made her laugh, and Amara realized with crushing clarity that he was probably telling her about this someone special this song reminded him of, while dancing with his new wife. But karma, as they say, is a patient hunter. The moment of reckoning came during the reception when Emeka, emboldened by Palmi and the euphoria of his wedding day, decided to give an impromptu speech thanking the vendors. "I want to thank everyone who made today possible," he began, his voice booming through Amara's sound system. "The caterers, the decorators, the photographers." He paused, squinting toward the DJ booth. "And especially our fantastic DJ from Lagos. Soundstorm Entertainment has really..." His words died in his throat as their eyes met across the crowded room. The color drained from Emeka's face so rapidly that several guests turned to see what had caused his sudden silence. Amara stood slowly from behind the mixing board, her presence finally registering in his consciousness like a ghost materializing at his feast. Amara. The name escaped his lips as barely a whisper, but in the sudden quiet of the reception hall, it carried like a thunderclap. Chioma, still radiant in her reception gown, followed her new husband's horrified gaze to the DJ booth. "Darling, what's wrong? Do you know her?" The question hung in the air like a sword about to fall. Amara had imagined this moment 1,000 times during the drive to Benin City, but nothing had prepared her for the raw reality of it. Here was the man she'd loved, supported, and waited for, caught between his old life and his new one like a deer in headlights. Emeka stammered, his confident demeanor crumbling. We used to. Used to what?" Chioma's voice had an edge now, her wedding day smile faltering as she sensed the undercurrents of drama swirling around her perfect moment. Amara made the decision for him. With deliberate calm, she picked up the microphone and addressed the room. "Good evening, everyone. I'm Amara from Soundstorm Entertainment, and I want to thank you for allowing us to be part of this special day." Her voice was steady, professional, but those who knew how to listen could hear the steel beneath the silk. "I have to say, this is quite a reunion for me. You see, the groom and I have a bit of history. In fact, just last week, he was texting me about how much he missed me and couldn't wait to see me again." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Chioma's hand flew to her throat, her eyes darting between her new husband and the woman behind the microphone. "But don't worry," Amara continued, her smile sharp as a blade. "I'm just here to do my job. After all, someone has to pay for all that money I sent him over the years to help with his visa problems in Dubai. Oh wait, I mean London. Or was it Germany? I'm sorry, I get confused about where exactly my investments were supposed to be working." The silence that followed was deafening. Emeka looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. Chioma's wedding makeup couldn't hide the shock and growing fury in her eyes. The guests, caught between horror and fascination, stared in stunned silence at this real-life Nollywood drama unfolding before them. Emeka, Chioma's voice was deadly quiet. Is this true? But before he could answer, Amara delivered her final blow. Here's a wedding gift from me to both of you, she said, pulling out her phone. A little collection of voice notes and messages from your devoted husband. Would you like me to play them through the sound system, or would you prefer to listen privately? The threat was clear. Emeka's infidelity, his emotional affair, his financial fraud, his web of lies, could be exposed to their entire social circle with the press of a button. Please. Emeka finally found his voice, stepping toward the DJ booth with his hands raised in surrender. Amara, please. Let's talk about this privately. These people don't need to what? Amara's composure finally cracked. 3 years of hurt and betrayal pouring out like a dam burst. Don't need to know what kind of man they're celebrating? Don't need to know that while his wife was planning their dream wedding, he was telling another woman she was the love of his life. Chioma stood frozen, her bouquet trembling in her hands as the reality of her situation sank in. The fairy tale wedding she'd planned was disintegrating in real time, broadcast to everyone who mattered in her social circle. You know what the funny part is? Amara continued, tears now streaming down her face, but her voice never wavering. I didn't even know about you until I took this job. I've been sitting here all day, watching you live out the dreams he promised me, wearing the happiness I paid for. The confrontation that followed would be talked about in Lagos and Benin City social circles for years to come. Chioma, to her credit, didn't dissolve into tears or hysterics. Instead, she quietly removed her wedding rings, placed them on the nearest table, and walked out of her own reception with a dignity that earned respect even from Amara. Emeka, meanwhile, found himself facing the wrath of both families, the judgment of his peers, and the complete collapse of his carefully constructed new life. The man who thought he could play with hearts in different cities discovered that the world was smaller than he'd imagined, and consequences had a way of finding you no matter how far you ran. As for Amara, she finished the job she'd been hired to do, packed up her equipment, and drove back to Lagos with a check that would help her expand her business and a closure she never knew she needed. The pain of betrayal would take time to heal, but the satisfaction of justice served hot was immediate and complete. Months later, when people asked Amara about the most dramatic gig Soundstorm Entertainment had ever handled, she would smile mysteriously and say, "Some weddings end with 'till death do us part.' Others end with the truth setting everyone free." And in Lagos, where her reputation as both a top DJ and a woman not to be crossed had grown legendary, business was better than ever.